I'm Jeff Morte, and I'm joined by a person who's, just come across and overcome challenges that most people would take and be like, okay, fine, this is how it's meant to be. I'll just take my lot in life and let it be. But not Daniel Odongo. He's about to become a pilot. But get this, he was born blind. Let's talk about that. Bwana Daniel.
Yes.
Karibu sana, bro.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you.
And, there's something very interesting you told me, because we're talking about, how the sky is the limit. I mean, you can go and do anything. And you told me something interesting.
Of course, the sky cannot be the limit, because if there are footprints on the moon, then the sky cannot be the limit.
You told me that, and I was like, absolutely true. It's
true.
So profound.
It is.
Is that how you live?
Yeah, that's how I live.
Is that your philosophy?
Yeah, that is exactly how I live. When everybody thinks that maybe having been born with disability, that blindness condition for that 22 years, I couldn't make it to be one of among the pilots. Here in Kenya, a little bit hard to understand that. But if you go back to America, there's an organization called Able Flight. They've been supporting persons with disabilities to also pursue careers in flying. And this is something that also motivates me. As much as I'm here in Africa, Kenya, in a very poor family background, here in Madare, always believe that the sky cannot be my limit. If I've been going there, why not pursue this kind of a course?
And take it to the full course.
Yes.
Okay. And let's just take it back, like you said, to even your upbringing. How was it, being born blind? And even at that point, did you want to become a pilot? Was when I grow up, because everyone is a kid, when I grow up, was that the thing for you?
Of course, when I was born back in 1992, 24th of August, it was not discovered that I was blind. Until when I was about 3 years of age.
Right.
When you are at home, you ask your child, please kindly get me that kind of a spoon. Then instead of getting the spoon, I hit the stool with my leg. And then everybody was saying, hey, what's not happening here? That's the day that my dad discovered that I was born blind. And he said, since today, you cannot be in this house with your mother. Kindly pack your things and go back to your grandmother.
Your father said that?
That's my father. So looking at it, I said, okay, I know nothing about relationship. I know nothing about the family issues and matters. Then we packed that evening, went back to my grandmother. I was there with my mother for almost a whole year. Now, with the wisdom that my mother had, said, now that you are the only ninth born in the family and the last born, and there are also other 8 who are remaining at your other home place,
right.
Kindly let me leave you with your grandmother, then I can now move and get to cater for the other ones. Then she did that. I was left with my grandmother, and everybody in the village is asking, is this woman really in her senses? How can you leave a child who has a disability, he cannot see, he's supposed to be looking for your support, with a grandmother who is about 90 years of age? Because you can't even compare and ask yourself, between the grandmother and the Daniel, who's got to help one another.
True.
But lucky enough, God always has a reason why everything happens. In 1999, sisters from a nearby Catholic church, on their pastoral duties moving from one point to another, they met me at my grandmother's hut, standing in front, and I was looking up in the skies. They asked me, young man, what are you doing here? I told them I don't know. So they persisted knowing why I was in front of my grandmother's hut and not in school, because at that age I'm supposed to be in school.
True.
Then my grandmother came. He said, okay, he's my grandson. He is blind. He cannot see. And he's here with me. He's the joy of my heart. So after they discovered that I was blind, they said, okay, today you have to go to convent and stay with us. So I was taken to Mumias convent. After long persistence and after long call in between the grandmother and the sister, saying, you cannot snatch me the joy of my heart. How will I be living in this hut without my grandson? They said, okay, we have been singing in the church. You are doing a lot of good job in church. Her being the Catholic, at her age, he said, okay, well, good, you can go ahead and take him to the convent. I hope he is in the safe hands. They said, of course, he's in the safe hands. My first attempt to go to Kibo School for the Blind was done in the year 2000. First term, there was no opportunity for me. Second term, they made an attempt, and then within 2 weeks to the closing of the second term is when there was an opportunity, because one of the pupils in the school in standard 2 passed on and had to replace him now, that vacancy. Now looking at it, only within 2 weeks, I was able to be position 5 out of 9, because in the convent, of course, you have to learn how to count beads. If you miss even a single bead by the time you are praying the rosary, you're going to face it. So I knew how to count. I was sharp in mathematics.
Right.
When it comes to language, we used to speak both English and Swahili. We could not speak vernacular languages because there are a number of sisters from different houses staying in the same convent. That's how I came to make it. Now, when I took them the report card of position 5 out of position 9, they looked at me and said, Daniel, you must be working hard. If you don't work hard, you get this kind of a position, we shall take you back to your parents who rejected you. So I said, no, God, just guide me through this, because it's not easy, but have to put more in, more effort and more effort. So when I went back to the school third term, I promised them I'll come back with a better position than position 5. But with them, they were persisting. You must bring us at least position 1. If not position 1, you go back to your parents. Now, look at that environment. It was a little bit hostile for me because even my brothers would not accept me like any other member of that family. So I looked at it and said, okay, I have this opportunity. I began writing with a small slate. We call it a slate and a stylus. This is for at least upper classes, the braille machine that I'm holding. Then I worked so hard. I was to learn from alphabetical letters A up to Z, reading with my fingers, 1 up to 100, and all that combination. And then, lucky enough, with those efforts that I was making, I could go to class in the morning, preps at around 4 a.m. in the morning. I come back for breakfast at around 8, then go back again in the class, spend all the time in classroom, talking and discussing the standard 8 students, class 7, the upper classes. And also stay in that class with the class 8 students up to late in the night around 11 p.m.
Still studying?
Yes, just studying with them.
Let me ask at that particular point.
Yeah.
As you are going through your primary school, all the way up until class 8, because you're here in school, you're trying to work hard, you've been told you need to really excel in your studies, but also in your mind, you remember what happened. You remember what happened at home.
Of course.
You remember what your father did.
Yeah, of course.
How did you deal with that as a young boy trying to understand why this happened? How did you deal with that? What did you think and how would you deal with it in school?
Of course, it was just because of prayers. And also sister came in my life, I knew they came with a reason. And look at my parents, of course I needed their support, but they're nowhere to be seen. At times to learn to survive without some people in your life. That, yes, of course, I know they're there, but they're not ready to be with me here where I am. I said, well, good. Let me continue. Maybe my door will open one of these fine days.
Right.
So I worked so hard until I had to get that position 1 from standard 2, third term up to standard 8. By the time I was leaving Kibo School for the Blind, I had 351 out of 500 marks.
Wow.
That's then the time that Dad came for the first time at the convent saying, this could be my son.
At that point?
At that point. After 11 good years.
How did you feel?
11 good years. To me, I knew nothing because I knew him as a dad, as a parent. So I take it easy. I knew maybe he was away, maybe away out of the country or on his own businesses. But at least with the support that I used to get from the sisters, I was well to go. I was very much comfortable.
Okay.
Because they gave me correct parental guidance and correct parental support. Then getting that 351, I moved to Thika School for the Blind.
And even at that point, after, because you know usually what happens, especially when people perform well in primary school, that's when people usually ask, so what do you want to become when you grow up? At that point, 351 marks, what did Daniel want to be when he grows up?
When we were discussing with our teachers at Kibo School for the Blind, the kind of courses that had categorized, they said you can become a lawyer, you can become a teacher, you can become a person, you can become with a profession that doesn't require a lot of sight. Because with you can make it, but the course that requires sight, you cannot make it. I told them, man, good, you never know. Let me just go ahead and see what I'm going to get at Form 4 level. So I've also worked hard in Thika School for the Blind. I had a B- of 53 points that we can get from the result slips here. So getting a B- of 53 points, I moved to Kenyatta University. At Kenyatta University, that I was given admission letter from the CEO, John Muragori, at COOPS. By that it was JAB, Joint Admission Board. I was given a letter, introduction letter to Kenyatta University to discuss to the admissions officer to get me a course. So he tried to argue out with him, Dr. Simbaoni. He said, according to your sight level, according to your visual problem, you can only go for special needs education.
Right.
And I want to be a lawyer. I want to do something to do with law. He said, no, with this one I not advise you. Just go back and teach. So now she is in a higher position. I can't over-argue with her. I said, okay, well, good, get me the admission letter for the education. I will start with that one to be my stepping stone.
But you still wanted to do law?
Yeah, I'll do something different. So then I was given, taken back to the sisters who used to support me, but then was taken over another superior house. In the convent, there are people who are leading others, the superior houses. So looking at it, they said, no, with a B minus of 53 points in 2010, you couldn't go to a university. This is a fake admission letter. No, there is a fake admission letter. I've gone there, picked by myself. Say, this is a fake admission letter. What I know, boys are supposed to go to the university with at least 60 points and girls 62, and then girls are supposed to go there with the 60 points, be constant. But what they bring to us, this is like a kind of a joke. Even this admission letter doesn't even have a rubber stamp. How do you prove that this is a genuine admission letter? Go to check in the website. I'm not even existing there because persons with disabilities or the affirmative action, they're not there in the system. It is only through affirmative action that you can benefit. Now, I went back to the registrar, Dr. Nyaga, and asked Dr. Nyaga, why did you give me a fake admission letter? He said, no, it's not a fake admission letter. So after arguing, she came in, she agreed. She had to call the Professor Olive Mugen, had to call her to tell her that this is a genuine admission letter. He has qualified under affirmative action. I was delayed at home for a whole 1 year. And
because of that back and forth?
Yes. And I used to stay here in Madara with my aunt. So look at myself, I said, okay, let me go there. So in 2012, then I got a chance to go to the university. Going there, I'm beginning life. My brother is there saying, no, you cannot be the same university like me. It is impossible. I said, no, I've also made it to be here. So
your brother?
Yeah, my brother.
The brother who back in primary school, they didn't want anything to do with you.
Yes.
Now you meet in university.
We're meeting in the university. So after all that struggle, of course, I worked so hard. Now, during the second year, the problem was now being in the mathematics class because I've done mathematics and geography, my teaching subject option. So in the mathematics class, you know, when I'm writing with this kind of bell machine, it makes a lot of noise. So people could complain the street, say, no, take that blind child away. You're not supposed to be in this class. I said, no. By the way, I've also paid school fees. Came to this university in a very genuine way. I also made it to be here in this university. So all of them could be complaining. So my rescue now in the class came to a situation where Dr. Malonza, who was the chair, was taking as a unit called the SMA 102 about basic mathematics, where you are supposed to be applying the functional rule, product rule, so that you're able to get an exponential number of 2 raised to power x to the power of 2. And he had explained the previous day, and I knew, and I had cramped it, and I've also put my notes on the paper here. So when you ask the same question, and the way students were explaining in the hall, I looked at them and I was even laughing. I made an attempt of putting my hand up. He's not even pointing at me. So what I did, I decided to stand up. I told them, no, I know this one. We're doing it the right way. So I said, what I'll be saying, remember to be writing on the board. So the way I was explaining, bring this exponential 2, differentiate here, make this 2 to go down here, bring it here, and he was doing it. We arrived at the correct answer. He told the whole class, clap for Daniel. So everyone clapped for me. That's the day even the whole class in mathematics accepted that Kumbe Dan knows how to calculate mathematics. I never had a calculator. This is just about writing numbers. So all these kind of permutations that we're making them off-head. So it must be very smart to multiply numbers and see how they're going to arrive to a bigger figure, like maybe 6-digit figure, 10-digit figure. They're doing them the way we used to do in primary school, 2 plus 2, 10 times, these board mass and all that.
And
then,
you got the respect of your classmates from
yes,
that point moving forward.
Yeah, and everybody wanted to sit next to me, even the ladies, the gentlemen, saying, no, today I'm sitting next to Dan. In fact, I used to go to the hall, already there's a chair set aside for me. And people are sitting from this side and others are sitting from this side.
But that chair is reserved?
Yes.
For Dan?
Yes. The people, hapa, ndo Dan ataka. Mimi nimekaa kando hii, I'm also sitting on this end. I said, okay, well, good. So I used to ask them questions. Do you understand this concept? How do you go about this one? They said, here, we were not able to understand. So I could be able to explain to them.
Right.
Then 2013, I had cerebral malaria. As classmates, they took me to KU Health Unit. I was treated there for like about a day or 2. Then they said this is just like a first aid. From here, I was supposed to go to a bigger hospital for better medication. That's why I was taken to Kikuyu Hospital. I went through the treatment, cerebral malaria. Now, on my way out from the hospital, I was told, I met an ophthalmologist who said, Daniel, you're not going to leave this hospital. You have to go back for surgery. I told him, Melis, you know very well my case. My parents are separated because of my disability. My brothers, they don't even know about my whereabouts. What are you telling him to go for this kind of a surgery? And after all these 22 years, I started meeting you when I was in primary school. I've gone through high school. I've gone through up to the university level. Is it you telling me to go for surgery? I cannot go for that. He said, no, you have to go. You have to go. After persisting for quite some time, I said, okay, I want to please you, I'll go there. So when I went for the surgery, Dr. Nyaga and the team came for the pre-surgery tests. After the tests, then we proceeded now to the theater the following day in the morning. We did the surgery on the left eye. After doing the surgery on the left eye, I was taken back to the ward. That's the time I've ever had a painful eye. It was so painful. And after every 2 hours, I used to cry, get me the painkiller even. Get me the painkiller. I couldn't even sleep the whole of that night. So the following day, he came to remove the bandage, of course. Then he started putting the eye drop. The first 1 week I was in the hospital. By the time I was leaving the hospital, I could see blurred things passing in front of my eye. I said, you never know. Maybe it is like a miracle to me. I went back to the university to complete my degree because I really needed so much as a stepping stone in my life. So when I went back to the school, they said, hey, your left eye seems to be very sick. It's too much red. I said, okay, it is a little bit painful, but I have to struggle. So with them, I never wanted to share with them that I've gone for surgery. And maybe I'll be recovering very soon.
And who even paid for the surgery at that particular time?
That is Standard Chartered Bank that came in through the...
They sponsored the surgery.
Saying is believing marathon.
Right, right.
So looking at it, I said, look, after 2 to 3 weeks in the school, they could see me tracing my way without using the white cane. They asked me, Dan, what's not happening? Nowadays you're moving alone. You have never white cane. I said, okay, let's see. Now, after 1 month, is when I started beginning to see at least clear objects and clear things. So when I'm seeing it, I said, okay, people could come and bring like a seat in front of my way, and then I could go there, the other way, this side. So they said, Dan is seeing nowadays. So I never wanted to share with them because they could have asked me read this, and then I couldn't read. So they say, hey, Dan doesn't see. Now, all that time, after like about 2 to 3 months, when we came back for January semester, I was able now to see fully with my left eye. Then I went back again to them to start now writing with a pen from letter A up to letter Z.
So you learned how to read and write in university?
In the university. That is 2014. 2013, December 2014. January, I was able to use a pen. And then I went back again as my usual terms just to thank them. Tell them, okay, thank you for this opportunity. At least you made me to see with my left eye. Then they said, in fact, I've just been thinking about you. Kindly. You're not going back home again today. You have to go back to the theater. So they did the same thing, the pre-surgery test. Then I was taken back to the theater by Dr. Nyaga, Godfrey Nyaga. We did the surgery, which was very successful. Then by the time I was leaving the hospital, I could see with the left eye and blurred vision on the right eye. And I said, it must be something good to see, because I've been longing to see. Now I can now go back to what I wanted to do in my life. So in 2014, around March, April there, I was able to see with both eyes. Wow. I said, this is now great. What do I do? Let me prove whether my sight can allow me to move and navigate along Nairobi here, Mathare, because I was brought up in Mathare here. Mathare is full of sewages. Even jumping from one place to another, it was a problem. You could jump in the wrong place, you step in them again. I said, what is this? Okay, I took it very easy. I had to go back to a driving school to test whether my sight is able to see as far as possible. So I went through driving school at Dandora, Seniors Driving School. I was given that opportunity. I went through the BC class, the lorry. I was told, okay, to move this lorry from this point to that town. So I could drive the whole lorry, the big one. So I told parents at home, you see what? I can now drive. Done! I cannot be in the same car with you while you are driving. You want to get into the potholes and not do that. I said, okay. I know you cannot come in the same car because, first of all, you don't even have a car, so I can even drive you, so don't worry. So 2014, 2015, through that small fund that I used to get from Higher Education Loans Board and also the support from the parents, at least I was able to now fully settle down myself at Mathare. I used to pay a house of 250 shillings per month, and I thank God because it was also a stepping stone in my life to know how to survive. Because at the age of about 18, 19, you cannot be staying with sisters in the same convent. True. You're being told now you have to look
you need to move out.
Way. Yes. So I began my life in Mathare there, while in the university I could go and come back over the weekend, spend there, teach, do some 2-3 things at home there, and I felt good. I used to wash clothes. in Huruma here because I've also had to do some kind of jobby work in Huruma to get a way to survive at the university. Because here, you're having brothers who aren't even supportive to you. You're having sisters who aren't even supportive to you. They still have that kind of heart that, you see what, you are the person who made the parents separate at one point. You are the same person who made us to have difference in the family. But I told them, it's not my wish to be born blind. It's not my wish to be born in the situation that I was in. It was a hard struggle. So by the time I was graduating in 2016, leaving the Kenyatta University, I said, okay, let me also make myself comfortable. I left Nairobi here to Mombasa and also back to Kisumu with Jambo Jet. So by the time people are getting out of the plane, I remained there. They asked me, we're already in Mombasa. What are you doing in the plane? Can you get out, please? He said, no, I don't get out of this place because I need to speak to the captain.
When you talked to the captain of the flight?
I was talking to the cabin crew. They persisted that you cannot talk to him without an appointment. I said, okay, if you can carry me well and good, you can go ahead. But to me, I don't think we'll do it.
Autoki.
It's talking. Men there seated. I said, no, Dan, you are disturbing us. Kindly leave the plane. We want to park the plane. I said, okay, and good. If you can carry me, go ahead. So after that kind of quarrel and persistence, the airplane, they said, okay, let us now come. The pilot who was in charge, Captain Duke, came out and said, okay, I'm called Captain Duke, here I am. How can I help you? I told them, okay, I'm Daniel Donga, I was born blind, but I love the way you brought us from Nairobi to Mombasa here, and I would love to join you. I said, okay. He gave me his card, and then you can meet on Friday, the same week. So I was talking, called him that Friday in the morning. I went to Wilson Airport. He introduced me to his cousin, Suleiman Hamoud, the owner of Skyling Aviation College. When I went there, we discussed, and that is April 2017. After a very deep discussion, he said, okay, you can come and join us, but a deposit of 500,000 must be made. I said, now, where do I get even 500,000? To me, I'm paying house in Mathare, 250 shillings and 500 here. Where do I get this much? He persisted that here, you can't come without money. This is a course for rich people. So I said, okay, let me come first, and then we can now discuss about the money.
Right.
He said, no, if you have no deposit, please don't come because I'm not allowed to be in class. First attempt in April failed. I was to join May 2017. It failed. In 2017, again, September, I started now going there. I could just sit on that flyover there, look, and there the airplanes are landing and taking off, landing and taking off, and they say, God, if you guide me to get there, I'll be the very person who'll be inspiring people that I came from a very poor family background, rejected because of that disability, and I'll be flying these planes. So I went there, I told them, okay, by there, I've also been making some little savings because I used to teach and also doby and knitting shoes there, carpentry, you know, this kind of odd jobs in the slums, so that you're able to survive. I've saved this much, about 20,000. I can pay for the school uniforms, the badges, and the tie, and the admission fee. Get me the admission letter. The money will come. So after paying all that, he allowed me, said, okay, but I'm only going to give you 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, you should be able to pay 500,000. I said, okay, it will come, don't worry. Just money, it will come. So I went there for the first 1 week, second orientation. After the orientation, began the classes. So I knew, you know, when you're passing, when you get to the class, you have to go through the reception. You're supposed to go through the accountant. So I could take my phone. I'm getting class, I'll just call you. I'm calling back.
Nairobi.
Yes, so that I passed now the receptionist
and the accountant.
And the accountant. They called that gentleman to come. I said, no, I'm in class. Right now, don't disturb me, please. I'm in class. That's what I've been doing for almost a whole month. That is September last year. Now, in October, when the Royal Media Service covered my story on Sunday testimony, that's when people now came to start now supporting me. Somebody could donate like 50,000, 20,000. Here I am.
When you look at it, you know, like, because for very many people, it's very easy to become bitter about the situation you had in life. You were blind, your family left you, your brothers and sisters who knew you were blind and knew the situation had nothing, and even in university, when they were full adults, wanted nothing to do with you. How did you take it? How did you feel at that point? Of course, you have your own life to live. If you start now living concerned about your brothers and sisters and people rejected you in life, of course you'll never move. With us, only have one mission. I want to achieve this. How do I get there? If I was born alone, if I was born to be an orphan, or I was born without parents or brothers and sisters, will I not be achieving the way I'm achieving? So the question you should be asking yourself, like what I always ask myself. My brother is in Rongai, but we don't communicate for like about 3 to 4 years. I'm very much comfortable. I don't struggle to looking for them.
because I know what I want to achieve in my life. Not about what they want me to achieve.
Okay.
Is it about what I want to achieve?
Okay, we'll just take a brief breath at that particular point. And, at this point, is where you just look at your life and you're thinking you had so many challenges. Oh, it's not working for you. Look at your life. That's a question. Short break. We're back on the other side with Daniel Odongo. Don't go too far.
Okay.